Oh, guys, you really should have been here for the unrecorded Patreon episode.
Oh
We
yeah.
were naming names and telling a cool story about a guy who probably doesn't not only believe in one vaccine, none of the vaccines. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
buddy.
Yeah. I just
He doesn't believe polio's still got.
oh yeah, he doesn't believe polio is ever a thing. Well, I like being in an iron lung. I want to be a kidney bean. Fuck you.
Okay, maybe if you did legs more, you wouldn't get polio, bitch.
Yeah. Maybe if you were such a little fucking loser. Dylan, today we are going to head on to the swamp and talk about a guy that is bad. The Fiend is a bad character. You can all shut the fuck up and fuck off. I fuck it. Ooh, it's Beetlejuice. Shut the fuck up, you fucking.
Here's what I want to say about. Here's what I want to say.
Go ahead. Speak to the.
I was gonna say this later on, and it's a very long and boring analogy, as is my trademark.
Good, as is your want.
So I don't know if anyone here remembers the show Lost.
I do not.
Yeah, you don't. Okay, Lost. The first season, everyone watches the first season and thinks it's amazing. I like the second season, and then everyone has a point with the show Lost where you're like, this fucking sucks, fuck this. That's Bray Wyatt. He's amazing for the first bit.
Always.
And then the longer you watch him, you're like, oh, he doesn't really have any plans. Like, there's this story with the show Lost, and me and my buddy Bryn watched it, and for the longest time I thought the fucking ABC, because it was on ABC, it was like ABC just wouldn't let him, J.J. Abrams, do what he wanted. That's why Lost ended up sucking at the end. It's like, nope. Apparently, J.J. Abrams came to ABC with this thing that was like this plot for something that is just a shitty B movie, and then ABC was like, why don't we make it like a mystery too? And actually, the network was the one that made it great, and that is what The Fiend is. That is what Bray Wyatt is, where it's like, if The Fiend was just basically The Undertaker, like, you just get basically Bray Wyatt's first idea, where it's like, okay, yeah, he's a cool thing, and then he beats the shit out of people, but then Bray Wyatt's also like, and I have powers.
Yeah, the thing with it is,
I would like to say I don't believe the Kevin Sullivan, Chris Benoit conspiracy theory. I'm gonna start a new one. He's Kevin Sullivan's kid.
I'm backing you up on this. I absolutely believe
there's no way he's not Kevin Sullivan's kid.
I guarantee that the Varsity Club did some sort of weird sperm throwing up a giant thing. I don't know. Like, they were all wearing their jackets.
Kevin Sullivan fucked Barry Windham. Barry Windham's the only man to get pregnant. He gave birth to Wyndham Rotunda. They wanted to cover it up. They did.
Everything in there makes sense. Why, by the way, was Barry Windham able to get pregnant? Because Barry Windham is so awkward that God blessed him with the ability to never have to interact with women.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I need
someone told him to take steroids, and he confused and thought estrogen pills were steroids. So
yeah, Barry Windham. It's the weird thing is Barry Windham is actually the perfect man. He is able to reproduce solely on himself. He will never die. He has glands that that keep his body filled with nutrients and proteins. Here is the problem. Personality is terrible. Like, he's just the most fun guy. So no one knows this information. Like, Barry Windham would change society completely, but to have a conversation with him, you would rather rip out your own genitals with your hands and throw them at Barry Windham while he just slowly explains to you why he keeps his coffee, which is instant, in a coffee tin that's much nicer, because he's quote unquote stole the coffee tin from some whore.
Yeah. No matter where you're from, he aggressively tells you what highway is the best in that area.
Absolutely. And he also really wants to know what route you took to come meet him. Where'd you come? How'd you come? Whoa.
William Wyndham, sorry. Lawrence Rotunda. This is crazy. This guy won a state wrestling championship at 275 pounds in high school. For reference, Brock Lesnar wasn't a heavyweight until, like, Brock Lesnar would have wrestled at a lower weight than him.
I mean, they don't just call him Husky Harris for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's the funniest thing, where it's like, your name is Husky. Your character is, you just can't stop eating that chocolate bars.
Yeah, you know how we have to have plus size models and it makes me sick? Yeah. You're that if they were a boy. Get in the ring. I fucking hate your guts.
This guy
Do you
specifically.
man, because of his dementia, confused that Mike Rotunda is not playing an IRS member? He just thinks that was a guy from the IRS.
Yeah, and he hasn't filed his taxes for years because he just keeps on giving his taxes to Mike Rotunda, who's confused.
Yeah, take care of this for me, Irwin. Vince, I gotta say this again. I'm a backstage producer. My name is Mike. You told me you worked on Wall Street.
Your name's Irwin R. Shyster, which implies you're Jewish, which I don't like, and that's where it goes.
Irwin, file my taxes and put on Kanye. Again, Mr. McMahon, I am not a tax accountant. There is no way to play music. Sing Black Skinhead for me.
So this is another one. He just immediately is in WWE.
Just immediately. Yeah, this is the interesting thing.
Because he's great.
But
because he's exactly what you want a pro. He's exactly what he's everything you want a pro wrestler to be.
Do not fucking suck the dick of big wrestling any longer, Dylan.
Ooh,
we're taking it down.
He should have been a 5'5", 130-pound guy who has opinions on fucking gender politics. All right, here's what you want.
He should have been
700 million pounds.
That's right.
He looks like a fucking tough guy from the 70s. He played football. He wrestled. He's literally, both his parents have lineage within professional wrestling. This man, just describing that, Jim Cornette just started coming like a fire hose, and he has no idea why. And then he betrays Mr. Cornette by having ideas.
Yeah, by having
disgusting
ideas that are not, you wear wool tights and then just put someone in a hammerlock. Original Waylon Mercy Bray Wyatt was so good. Let's all talk about how basically it was just fucking Kid Windham saw Waylon Mercy on Superstars, because no one forgot Waylon Mercy. Waylon Mercy ruled.
Waylon Mercy was dope.
Goddamn right he was. They just put it with like he had the knife tattoo on the forehead. That was so fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
Him and Hakushi really do not get the respect that they
Hakushi was Hakushi. I don't know why they didn't do everything with that dude. Like, they could have just like, hey, Hakushi's manager is now Ted DiBiase, and he's like, you know what the problem with Hakushi is that they don't, and they still haven't done the fucking this guy can kill everybody, but he's a high flyer gimmick. They've never done that.
Never done
always
it.
Like,
well, they never done it in the WWE. Like, the WCW was sort of the nice thing about the cruiserweight division is you know who they kind of did that with?
That's what I'm saying, though. Everybody should be like, hey, I hear fucking drop kick this guy in the back of the head. He's dead now.
They very briefly did that with Dean Malenko in WCW. It's not acknowledged, but the way the commentators sold, and it was specifically and done so well, which was Dean Malenko leaving and Eddie Guerrero leaving cruiserweight to go compete for the U.S. title, was such an interesting way of like making a title that's kind of like whatever, really fucking interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point that Bray Wyatt also sort of falls in line with Hakushi and with Waylon Mercy, which is these really memorable characters where you're like, just have him kick the fuck out of a bunch of people for a bit, and then we move forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about him is he's not what Vince wants in a second, third generation wrestler, because he wants all his second, third generation wrestlers to be these like guys like Roman Reigns, guys like The Rock, guys like Randy Orton, who are just jacked as hell.
Totally willing to defraud a government that was going to help people that are in need.
Ted DiBiase
Jr.
Ted DiBiase Jr. Yeah, for sure. Vince tried to sign him again after that.
Oh my God, I guarantee Vince.
That's probably why Vince took back the company. He's like,
what? This guy's doing great babyface work outside the company.
You're telling me that history's greatest babyface, a man taking money from the poor, is not signed to any company, and you want to try and bring back Zack fucking Ryder?
He's Robin Hood. He steals from the rich and gives to him. Ha ha
ha. Here's the fucking thing that you should know about old Vinnie Mac.
I didn't realize Husky Harris was in the new Nexus with CM Punk.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. That, by the way, do you remember the new Nexus? That was the weirdest fucking like thing, because that was
crazy, because it was like, hey, the Nexus is still around. We've attached it to maybe our best wrestler.
Yeah, and he's a heel, but you like him. Wait, what? Oh, he just did a pipe bomb, and now they're never going to talk about the Nexus again.
He did He did a promo that's too good. He's not with the Nexus anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah, where's Where's that guy who says you're wrong? I don't know. Probably just fucking commentating on a match with a Fox News contributor because wrestling is both the best right now and also the weirdest.
So yes, he's Husky Harris, and this plays into, if you want to see like the end of wrestling fans being shitheads, it really is Husky Harris and Bray Wyatt, because people, when Bray Wyatt comes out, people chant Husky Harris.
They really do. And by the way, like, people were going out of their way to let you know, like, this guy's named Bray Wyatt, but his name used to be essentially Fat. We will be yelling that at him. Fat, you're fat, but
it's naming a guy Husky and then being like, yeah, we're gonna put, that's crazy.
Yeah. Please welcome to the ring, Barf on Your Shoes, Ugly Jim, and his tag team partner, pretty good looking Steve.
Like Heath Slater, great name. David Otunga.
Heath Slater is not a good name. Shut the fuck up.
When it's compared to Michael McGillicuddy and Husky Harris, it's very good.
Name. Who's in charge of exterminating these bugs? Well, it's Michael McGillicuddy and Michael McGillicuddy Extermination Services.
Michael McGillicuddy just sounds like a fake name you give when you don't want someone to know your name. That's
right. And you're speaking to, Dylan? Michael McGillicuddy.
Oh, Harry Henderson?
Yeah, you're talking to I'm gonna come Husky McGillicuddy. You'll never see me you'll never figure out where I learned that nickname.
Husky Stevens, or wait a minute.
No, I'm Husky McGillicuddy.
Michael Harris? I guess if you just switched it up and it was Michael Harris, it'd be the greatest name of all time.
Oh my god. Are you saying the Premier of Ontario when we were kids?
Husky McGillicuddy.
Husky McGillicuddy.
That's a name.
That's a fucking name right there. Excuse me. Who here just shit in this planter? Well, that'll be Husky McGillicuddy.
So they start trying. He really, in 2011, he's like, I watched a bit of Kevin Sullivan, and I watched a bunch of movies that were made on a budget of $48, and now let me try these characters, because he becomes hockey mask wearing Axel Mulligan.
What?
Yeah, Axel Mulligan.
I think
that was his character, Axel Mulligan.
It's my character. I genuinely think the idea for Bray Wyatt came from, he was just like, I liked Waylon Mercy when I was a kid. Let's do that. And Vince McMahon was like, a character that's based off of a character that was already my idea. So that means I've had two ideas. Ha 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 ha.
No, it was the fudging. It was the Yellow King. It was True Detective.
I know it was True Detective, but it was also,
which means, what does it mean? What does it mean? What about the Wyatt family compound?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
It means they're all fucking each other.
It means they're pedophiles.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, you ever see True Detective?
I have seen True Detective. That's totally true. They are pedophiles.
Yeah. The implication there is that Bray Wyatt is a pedophile.
He's the leader.
No, not even that. He's the leader, and he covers up a bunch of it.
Yeah, he's the leader of a group of pedophiles, and he's backed up by his two biggest and scariest pedophiles.
Which means in wrestling lore.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, this is exactly where I was going as well. You keep going. Continue.
Luke Harper.
Yes.
Brody Lee.
Correct.
The WWE was like, let's mourn this pedophile within their lore.
Not only that, within their lore, that then carries over to AEW. And CM Punk always said the reason why he went to AEW is because he watched the tribute to Brody Lee and he thought it was so respectful. Ergo, in wrestling lore, CM Punk saw the tribute to a pedophile and went, I'm going to get back into wrestling.
I mean, no, the Brody Lee character, then you're going back off the Insane Trucker, which I guess, yeah, his indie character was just that he murdered people at truck stops. And then he went to WWE where he became pedophile.
He became a murderer. I mean, I got to tell you, wrestling is exactly what was on the fucking tin, isn't it?
It's as advertised, baby.
To follow this lore even more, let's follow this. So he is the king pedophile that covers it up. And then he morphs into a man who hosts a creepy Saturday morning kids show who used to be a pedophile. And then he morphs into a monster who's wearing Beetlejuice pants who might still be a nonce.
So, yes, well, this is the thing is, first of all, this is why British people are all pedophiles. They have words like nonces for it.
Nonce is the best. First of all, nonce is the greatest.
Nonce is ridiculous.
It is. Fan, you've not lived until you saw
the British infection in your language. You say trousers. It's disgusting. British English is version 1.0 of how to speak. Okay, this is why
Knots is so good. I will never forget how hard. I literally just stopped and laughed. I remember I was walking by a school and I saw a teacher walking to their car, and I just heard from a window, "Mr. Baldwin, you're Knots, bro." And I was just like, "Why'd you throw the bro on top of there?"
Because they had to make it fun. So Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt, and
Bryan. Never forget the fourth member, Daniel Bryan. He wore a boiler suit, and it was 1 week long, and it was so unnecessary.
There was more than one other member. He had Randy Orton for a bit.
Oh, that's right. Sleeveless hoodie Randy Orton. Everyone else is in weird tattered Southern clothes. Randy Orton just wearing a hoodie, but no sleeves.
It takes a lot for a guy to wear a Hawaiian shirt and a straw hat, and you know that he's evil. So Bray Wyatt did a great job of that.
Absolutely correct. That's why I still say it is True Detective, but with some Waylon Mercy, because he's clearly got the Max Cady or whatever the fuck it is from Cape Fear tribute, which is what Waylon Mercy was doing. So there's clearly that influence there. Great debut. It was, listen, he was in NXT.
He's one of the first NXT characters that they debuted. It was good. And then they fucked him up real fast, because the other thing about Bray Wyatt, and it became very, very evident very quickly, was that this guy is Jake the Snake Mankind. And if they would have done it, I think, to what the fans wanted, he would have just been like the new babyface, but The Undertaker was still around for another couple of years. Like, it was like just backstage politics and shit for sure kept him down.
All they had to do is slightly turn down the fact that Bray Wyatt has magical powers, and then you're fine. That's what I never understood.
Dude, all he had to do was like fucking legit. Here's all you have to do is
this. Look Mark fucking Calloway in the face and say, "You're a 70-year-old. I'll stab you in the face." Fuck, this isn't real.
Well, you just switch it so
I'm
it's
the
like
judge of wrestler's court. Well, I'm a human being with a gun. How about that? They understand.
I'm just saying, all you do is Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Sorry, Rowan and Harper go to some other guy who's hired them. They turn on Bray Wyatt. You don't have to change the character from this cult guy. He's still a cult guy. Don't worry, he's still a pedophile, but he's a babyface pedophile.
Vince McMahon's greatest character. He's a babyface pedophile.
His most loved characters. But then obviously you do the thing where it's like, oh, Bray Wyatt's gonna get beat up by these guys. Lights come out. Dong. Undertaker. Do the Undertaker thing. They kiss on the lips. American Badass plays. Bray Wyatt is riding behind, holding the Undertaker tight so he doesn't fall off. They fall in love. That's good.
Yep, that's really great. Undertaker retires. Him and Bray Wyatt appear in the interviews. Undertaker's about to talk politics. Bray Wyatt puts his hand on his lap and goes, "No, no, 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 no." And
yeah, they go over on Kane. He beats Kofi Kingston, but then this is a real show of how much they care about Bray Wyatt. He loses to CM Punk and Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series after like a hot debut, and it's like just let the man live. And then he just jobs out. Bray Wyatt jobbed out pretty much for years.
Yeah, there was a lot of jobbing. And then this weird moment of, was it decided whether or not he beat CM or John Cena at WrestleMania 30? I can't remember from our last episode. We went back and forth. We both thought we were.
No, he lost to Cena at WrestleMania 30, That's which right. would have helped his career. And by the time he's done, his character's done 6 years later, he loses to John Cena. Or sorry, he beats John Cena.
Beats John Cena in a John Cena's in the NWO weird Firefly Funhouse match, which they invented.
He loses to Crew Cut Cena. He beats Wig Cena.
I mean, first of all, that is not a wig. That man's glorious.
Looks like a wig, though.
Oh, it certainly does. That man has weird genetics. Oh, you'll keep your hair, but it will look like a wig for the rest of your life. No.
Yeah, he grows his hair out too long. It looks like he straightened it. But
here's the thing with that WrestleMania 30 loss. What actually I always thought was the beginning, the real end of Bray Wyatt was the WrestleMania match with the Undertaker, where it was literally just like, all right, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like here.
Yeah, where the Undertaker gets his streak back, where it's like, and you remember too, this is where Bray Wyatt unveils the fucking spider thing that was awesome. And it's like, that's a thing where it's like the first time you do that spider thing, it's revealed that you can do that. You have to win the match. Otherwise, it's like, oh, that's cool, but it doesn't mean anything. Like,
And it's very interesting that the WWE forgot that. It's almost like the people that were deciding matches didn't actually know how to book wrestling. This is a very Jim Cornette thing to say, but he is right, which is like they know how to book WWE, which is like the person that the guy who is in charge has decided who's the babyface, they win, as opposed to what your fucking fans want.
Yes, and the other one, it's so we're coming off of Raw 30, which was so funny because it was like, 3-hour shows stink, but it's just exactly what you can tell the Triple H is still in charge, because here's what happened is the Undertaker basically shook hands with Bray Wyatt and was like, this is your yard now, which is like what they should have done
7 years
10
ago.
years ago, almost 10 years ago.
My God, yeah, because next year is WrestleMania 40. Oh, Christ.
Yeah, man.
No, that's not right. That's not even close to it.
Yeah, and then you get the end of Super Cena, WrestleMania 30. John Cena beats Bray Wyatt with like overcoming Harper and Rowan as well. Like he beats everybody. And this is also the storyline where, and honestly, it sounds silly, but this is where Bray Wyatt should be turning babyface, because it's like and obviously John Cena can't lose the feud where it's like, I want you to become a monster. I want you to turn, because that's the other thing is, for years, the whole interaction between Wyatt and Cena has been pretty consistent in that it's like Bray Wyatt trying to make John Cena into a heel, and Cena won't do it.
Yeah, but again, I completely agree, and I totally see that as the thing. But again, I never understood why that needed to be his whole thing of like, come over to the dark side. They just needed to loosen it up and either make him way weirder so it doesn't make any sense, or he's a bit more of a human and he's just like, I'm here to beat the shit out of your fucking hero because you people don't respect. Like, it was just that sort of thing of like, it was
John Cena does a lot of make-a-wishes. I am a pedophile. I hate that.
Yeah, John Cena.
That's what the storyline should have been.
Why wouldn't that have been an amazing? That feud would have been fucking wild.
Yeah.
Let me tell you who would have loved it. British people. They love seeing pedophiles.
the Nonce family.
The Nonce Factory.
What was it? The Nonce family. Yeah, that's what he just, Bray Wyatt convinces other wrestlers to become pedophiles.
What I call
no, but honestly, Bray Wyatt would have been an amazing character in ECW. Yes.
Oh my God, he would have been in imagine him versus Kid Cash would have really got 3 out of 5 stars at a
really would have made that Sandman angle. He's Raven instead. Let's go. Yeah.
My God. Again,
I've been molesting your kid for weeks now.
I guarantee that was pitched. I guarantee Paul Heyman
100%.
Like, the only reason that angle didn't.
What are the logistics of, I don't know, let's say not feeding him for a month?
Oh, Dad, it's me, Paul, your son. Know how you're a lawyer? Is it legal to claim that someone is a pedophile and has been being a pedophile to the Sandman's son for over a month? So that
we need you to live the gimmick, Raven. You're gonna have to actually molest a guy.
No. I gotta say this. I like that we are.
He lived his gimmick.
Oh wait, this is a Patreon episode. Let's get wild, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, these will be public very soon, so don't worry about it.
Oh, good. I just wanted to make sure that we still get to go back to so many of the episodes of this show, just waking up individually late at night going, there goes the career.
Buddy, I live in Canada. It's almost impossible for me to be affected.
Sure.
You're in trouble.
No. I live in America, where it would be like, this gentleman faces some real trouble. Luckily, he's launched a podcast and just signed a contract for $1
No matter what your move is, you can't say anything anymore. And then it was like, well, didn't this guy get arrested for actually being what all the right-wing people say? Like, he was on Epstein's Island? Yeah. But you can't say anything anymore. Well, I'm on his side, I guess. Like, I'm backed up.
Wait a minute. This guy has a piece of paper that says, you know, Jeffrey Epstein, he did everything he did, I was cool with. What do you think of that? And it's like, I don't know when he wrote that, but I don't think that he did. Like, it's just like, okay.
Oh yeah, Bray Wyatt does not have a good WrestleMania. Here's my favorite thing about Bray Wyatt. All right, so they run out of things for Bray Wyatt, and that is evidence because he just starts wearing an apron. Remember that, where he wears an apron.
Starts wearing an apron. They start talking about sister
and a leather hat. Sorry, go for it. Yeah, they decide Sister Abigail isn't like once they decide, and this plays in with the Lost thing. The big thing in the Lost was the hatch. What's in the hatch? What's in the hatch?
What turned out to be in the hatch in Lost?
a guy pressing a button.
Is that fucking true?
Yeah, man.
I am so
Which when then you were like, what does the button do? Most people were like, once it was a guy pressing a button, they were out. But I was like, well, what does the button?
I love that you the most cynical, like you, I can really imagine being a kid at 8 years old, packing up your toys and just being like, time for adult things. I love that you got fucking hosed by Lost. I love that you were down with the
I was
shit.
smoking a lot of weed back then.
Yeah, I'm smoking a lot of weed right now. I'm still not gonna fucking watch Lost.
What was happening with the button? They did a great job of it. What was happening with the button, right? Once they're like, Sister Abigail, clearly this guy is a fucking cult leader character. He's crazy, and Sister Abigail isn't real. But once they're like, maybe she's real, then you're like, fuck off.
Yeah, maybe she's real, and maybe she's Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, maybe I'm wearing a leather apron now.
Yeah, maybe he's wearing a leather apron and just working also as a butcher backstage for catering because Vince made him get a second job because he fucking hates his guts.
Yeah, and then they have Braun Strowman in the Wyatt family in 2015. And honestly, the Wyatt family, as a function of just like, hey, we have this fucking huge guy in developmental. Let's make him just some dude who runs around and kisses people. Fat Braun Strowman, when he was like full fucking still strength training and he had very big pierced nipples, everyone was like, okay, this guy is very big, but also his nipples couldn't be more pierced.
Yeah, it was a real great time, the debut of Braun Strowman, because everyone was like, listen, we all agree that we like him overall, but we have some specific notes that need to be.
Braun Strowman.
Hey, all right, I'm just a country boy, country strong. I have bolts in both my nipples. I'll never take them out.
I'm a country strong man who's really into piercings, and also I bought. And again, I cannot believe we're talking this long about Braun Strowman without bringing up possibly my favorite thing anyone.
Favorite tweet of all time.
It's the best tweet ever. Dylan, take us through it again, and let's do the jingle. And it's time for the greatest tweet of all time.
He brought his father-in-law to a strip club for food, and then tried to get his wife a lap dance with her dad there. And then she was like, no, and he was like, ha ha ha.
You people don't understand that until
that's what happens when you end up marrying someone you're very sure you could beat up their dad.
How about if I fucking get a pussy in her face, you fuckhead? Ha ha ha. You can't do nothing.
This is what I disagree entirely, which is Braun Strowman has, I have all these muscles so you can't bully me face. And I guarantee he's just like, I got to make sure that this older man thinks I'm cool or he's going to show up and criticize my
What's cool?
What's cool? I know.
What do we do?
Your wife, his daughter, a lap dance.
There is no fucking way that Braun Strowman, I guarantee, just closes the door every once in a while, looks in the mirror and goes, I'm not strong enough for daddy.
Oh, and then something that was very good, but also ruined wrestling for a time, which is the Hardy family compound. The Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy thing happens.
Oh my God, that's right.
And that makes the Wyatt family now does, Bray Wyatt specifically does movie matches every 8 seconds now.
Yes. Okay, we need to quickly address, because this has somehow been forgotten in wrestling. So they did the broken Matt Hardy gimmick and the Brother Nero gimmick that culminated in the very first cinematic match. What the fuck is it called? What is that? Anyway, it's broken.
Yeah.
It's broken Matt Hardy fighting at the family compound. And it was this weird thing where everyone went, this is going to be really stupid. And then we all watched it and we were like, this is really stupid, but also I love it. And let's never do that again. And then wrestling was like, do this all the time, right? And they were like, no, actually. With this,
well, the whole reason that it worked was that Matt Hardy's character is that he's like an evil, genius, silly millionaire.
Yeah.
And the Wyatt family are supposed to be serious pedophiles.
Yeah, they're supposed to be very serious criminals.
Yeah, the Wyatt family compound should just be a bunch of weeping children.
Yeah, the Wyatt family compound for a brief time was the BBC in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly. They come back. Sister Abigail is it's Jeffrey Epstein making out with fucking Jimmy Savile. That's what Sister Abigail should be.
Yeah. And that's actually tattooed on Bray Wyatt's arm next to a tattoo.
Exactly.
Of the Harris brothers, and in that tattoo they have their SS tattoos.
The Wyatt family also, in the most Vince McMahon booking of all time, the Wyatt family is confronted by The Rock who beat everyone up in the Wyatt family
Every single one of
very
them
easily.
set a sign on fire at WrestleMania. What a wild time that was. That WrestleMania might be up there with WrestleMania 9 in terms of how bad it is.
I
No
don't
one
know.
talks
I don't remember any WrestleMania outside of when I was a child.
I remember
Once I hit puberty, I don't remember anything.
it's yeah, because you guys think you jacked off. You don't fucking know, man.
Oh yeah. Oh, actually, all right. So this is 2016, April 2016.
100% remember this. I was super hungover. I watched it in Melbourne, Australia. I ate a bunch of fruit. I went to a radio interview right after the Hell in the Cell match. I took a really watery shit in the radio station bathroom. Didn't realize that they were all gender bathrooms. Walked out, and a very attractive woman I realized just heard me essentially do what sounded like dropping a lot of wet cardboard into a pool.
Yeah, this had nothing. Jericho beats AJ Styles, Zack Ryder. Oh yeah, Zack Ryder won the IC title. That was like the big thing coming out of it.
Was the Zack Ryder push that was immediately ended the next day. Zack Ryder, I don't know if you guys remember the Raw after that Mania, but Zack Ryder had to come out and then was just punched in the face by Linda McMahon.
Oh yeah, Zack Ryder lost immediately. And The Undertaker, the longest match on the card is The Undertaker versus Shane McMahon, and the second longest match is Roman Reigns beating Triple H for the WWE title. That's how.
And it was the entrance where Triple H came out with Stephanie
McMahon. Yeah, she was dressed like.
They were really trying to fucking put the spark back in the marriage. Oh my god, the 2010s. What a fucking topsy-turvy decade. What's it start with? Well, these hipsters have opened a lot of weird restaurants in formerly druggy neighborhoods. How did it end? We were all inside and fascism rises.
Oh, with the ascent of fascism, of course.
Of course. Yeah. You know what goes really well with honeyed cashews? That's right. Fascism. How weird is the world right now? Every side agrees fascism is coming.
Randy Orton. There's a Randy Orton angle where Randy Orton becomes part of the Wyatt family only to burn down the compound and kill Sister Abigail.
Yeah, it's implied that he kills Sister Abigail or destroyed Sister Abigail's ashes, and also it's implied that they all lived in a shed together where one could only assume horrible, horrible acts of pedophilia did occur.
And this is why
following the storyline the WWE has set.
That is what Randy Orton, the babyface, destroyed the pedophile ranch.
It takes one to know one, as Randy said as he smoked a cigarette and threw it at that shed. I wouldn't say those 19-year-olds counted as kids, but I did make them hold school books because I am Randy. How come I just shit on him? I'm Randy Orton.
So Bray Wyatt then comes a babyface in a tag team with Matt Hardy, a full, I'm going to say 5 years too late.
Yeah, that's true.
Matt Hardy can't move.
They really missed a trick at the Raw 25th anniversary, quite frankly, because what they could have done when they had that weird match between the two of them, which, by the way, they should have done, which is had them fight in both locations, which is have them go out and like keep fighting and then end up at, remember how Raw 25, they were both in the Manhattan Center and somewhere else in New York? They should have had that match happen in both locations. That's the only thing I'm going to say about their feud, and the only thing I remember.
Oh, yeah, and then they have the fucking ultimate deletion match. Wyatt's pushed into the Lake of Reincarnation, then he comes back as a babyface, which, sure.
Yeah.
But also, he's wearing an apron. Like, he's wearing a butcher's apron, so now it's like, not only does he organize the pedophilia, he kills the kids afterwards.
Actually, and eats them, as of course. The thing I have to stress.
Kills them and eats them.
Kills them and eats them. He saw the movie Sin City and got the wrong message, or the right message, depending on who you are.
Yes, and then we're pushing into the Fiend.
Push into me. Oh, the Fiend stinks. Everyone shut the fuck up.
Great first chapter, but he should have just been a guy who beats everyone up very easily.
Yeah, again, he's a monster that has a variety of weaknesses, because as we all know, nothing's more intimidating than someone that's easy to hurt.
It is cool that every single week they would try something new, at least.
Yeah, but that more points to they don't have any ideas, not this guy's great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good point.
Called Mercy the Buzzard, which is great. All right, so this is the other thing, is like, also when Bray Wyatt starts out as a character, we should mention that his promos make no sense, but he's so cool that it carries it. And then there's one point where clearly it's like, okay, these have to start making some sense. And then the Fiend, once he comes out, for those of you that need a refresher, he comes out as basically a kids show host, but all the puppets are really creepy, and you can tell this guy's going to be fucking weird one time. And then when he sees the Fiend, when you see the Fiend for the first time, it is legitimately like fucking awesome.
Agree to disagree.
You don't think the Fiend mask is good?
No, I just want him to
Why?
be, because it was a level of unnecessary theatrical nonsense I didn't need for that character. I really liked what they were doing with Firefly Funhouse. I thought it was really fun.
You just wanted him to host a kids show.
I just wanted him to keep hosting a kids show. It's a really fun little break.
Okay, good.
Like, I just really like Pee-wee's Funhouse. I was like, can we just do this? Why does everything have to result in matches in wrestling? Why can't
That's true. You could just have a nice kids show you had 3 hours. Why not just have a kids show?
Just fucking swap it up, man.
Yeah, exactly. He's back to the luring.
If I'm totally honest, I just thought the mask was corny because basically before Firefly Funhouse, it was sort of implied like this guy came back from injury and he's doing this and this is weird. And then he became the Fiend and it's like, oh, and by the way, he thinks he's a monster and he hired someone to make a mask. And it was just like, just didn't do it for me.
Okay, I don't know. I liked it. When he goes full Fiend all the time, it's kind of like how Finn Balor is the demon. And I thought they did a really good balance of like having Finn Balor. And he's like, he attacks Finn Balor. It's like, but everyone likes Finn Balor.
Yeah, it was very weird. There's also this, man, 2018, 2019 in wrestling was fucking bad. Like, it was just bad.
Yeah, because you have, NXT is really good, but like main roster stuff is
Woof.
not fun.
Like, bear in mind, this is the time when we were all excited to see Enzo Amore, right? Because Enzo.
Oh yeah, you can't teach that.
Oh wait, no, Enzo was gone. Enzo was gone.
I don't know how long Enzo was. Once again,
Enzo
no idea how long.
On Raw 25. That's what I remember because we watched that together, and it was like the big thing of like they wouldn't have Enzo still be on the program, would they? And we were all like, they would.
Oh yeah. So he's like they do this classic thing where it's like, yeah, they want him to be a super strong monster, but they still don't want to give him the title. So there's a Hell in a Cell match, and it ends in a referee stoppage after the Fiend was buried under a bunch of objects, and everyone booed it because it sucked. So they go from like debuting the Fiend with all this stuff, and everyone loves the Fiend, to like literally 2 months later, everyone hates the Fiend.
Because this was the time where they were like, do you know that thing you like? Yeah, well, get ready to not like the thing that we do with it. But why?
Yeah. They could have just had him. Hey, he's got some cool clown pants and a dope mask. He beats people up quick when you get him too pissed. That could have been his whole character. But they were like, no, he's fucking... He loses, but he also wins. Also, he wins the title because they try to undo it. But he wins the title at Crown Jewel. And in the post-match, he pins Jamal Khashoggi's dead corpse. And
that's right, yeah. The confetti
has the worst title of all time. Go for it.
The confetti was little bits of Jamal Khashoggi that was sprayed over the crowd and the Fiend. And then he got on the mic and he just went, I didn't want to do this. And then the crowd was like, do it anyway. And then he ate little bits of the Jamal Khashoggi confetti.
Yeah, he's
I'm not for that, Dylan. Don't act like I was for that.
No, you were. That was your idea.
I mean, it wasn't not my idea.
If a journalist is causing you problems, get him out of the way. John Hastings.
That's all I said. I didn't say that you had to use a wood chipper. I literally meant physics. I thought the journalist was just literally in their way. Like, could you move? That's what I thought.
Oh yeah, and then classic Vince moving too. He Goldberg comes back. You know how Goldberg's 60 years old.
Yes,
he beats the Fiend
in seconds. I believe actually
the unstoppable force made by the devil himself is felled by a
guy
dude who does vanity steroids. Yeah. And has
vanity steroids, Bill.
Yeah, vanity steroids, and made his son take his shirt off one time.
Is that true?
You don't remember that? Yeah, it was like a post match. Goldberg was like, just took his son's shirt off when his son was like, you know how some guys, well, I definitely did. You did for sure too. Yeah. You know how we like went through that phase where you're like, 10 and you're just like some people, most people just like go through this weird phase where like you're 10 and you're just like, you get fat out of nowhere and then you maybe thin down at 11. His son was doing that and he was like, check it out, my son's fat. He's like embarrassing my son. Sorry, go for it.
Bill Goldberg. I remember I remember a couple of people were like, oh, Bill Goldberg's going to come back and wrestle. He really wants his son to see him wrestle. And I'm like, does the son want to see that though? Like, is Bill Goldberg?
Yeah. He put his son in the ring, took his shirt off. It was fucking weird. It was like, oh, fucking, my son's got tits. I hate that.
Wrestling never isn't weird. This is the thing that's crazy about wrestling is it's like, name a scenario. No, his name is Adrian and he owns a flower shop. All right. Well, Adrian is 300 pounds. He's drunk and Rowdy Piper's about to show up with a crowbar and beat the shit out of him. Why? Because he's a man who owns a flower shop. Do I have to explain everything?
Oh my God, he likes flowers. And also the guy who hates flowers, he's the babyface.
Yeah, of course he is. Because he's a man who doesn't like flowers. That's what men do.
I don't like breathing in. I want to breathe underground stale air.
Your air is supposed to smell like pee and beer.
So The Fiend returns on October 2nd and attacks Kevin Owens. I don't know why I'm reading that part. Yeah, The Fiend, like, once they do that, oh yeah, then you begin the Alexa Bliss association where he brainwashes Alexa Bliss, which would be fine, other than the fact that it sucked, because basically Alexa Bliss just takes his angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and does it. But like it's more interesting because it's not him doing it for the first time in 10 years. And they sell a bunch of those dolls. Fuck. What the fuck was the doll named?
Yeah, they sell a bunch of those dolls. They basically just are like, hey, we're gonna do Harley Quinn the wrestler, and it fucking they nail it.
Yes.
And then he gets fired because Vince McMahon's clearly like, who's this? The Undertaker? No, kill him. He gets fired. Vince McMahon turns out that he was up to the no stuff. Triple H brings back Bray Wyatt. As true with Dylan has nailed this at the top of the show, and he'll nail it again. Nothing is more exciting than when Bray Wyatt shows up, and nothing is more or less exciting than when Bray Wyatt's there 15 minutes later. Bray Wyatt comes back.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Shits their actual skeletons out of their actual internet assholes, and then it's kind of like, oh good, this guy who probably could be the IC champ is back. Like, who gives a shit? Dylan, who gives a
Yeah, exactly. He now he's in like a 9-month feud. Yeah, we're in month 2 of his feud with LA Knight, who's officially doing a better job than he is now. Yes. And there's Uncle Howdy teases, which everyone thinks and probably is Bo Dallas.
It's Bo Dallas. Go fuck yourselves, everybody.
Which is fine, which is good. But it's like, be like, here's my fucking brother Bo. No one's tricked by this.
Yeah, this is the other thing with the Bray Wyatt. They keep acting like it's the 90s and no one has the internet. Like they're always like, they foiled us again. And I was like, we have eyes, you fucks.
Yeah, make things like everything has to be like complex. Make the things complex that you can be, and that's usually the matches. Like, who's gonna win? If you just ask the question, who's gonna win, long enough, people convince themselves that the guy they think won't win will win. And instead, it's just like, yeah, man, like you get fucking all these and it's the worst thing that ever happened to Bray Wyatt was a budget, because now he can do all these like silly things that are like basically like B movies. But in FCW, why that character was so good was just like he had to come out and fucking talk shit just like everyone else does and kind of describe it. And then when you describe something, you can project your own imagination and make something better than it's going to be, rather than like, oh no, this is the Firefly Funhouse, which was good for a minute, but it's like, yeah, you have to evolve everything constantly, and he just doesn't have, I don't know.
You're right.
He needs to be a wrestler in 1981 with a guy who
like
abuses his wife, telling him how to wrestle. That's pretty much it. He needs Bill Watts.
He certainly does. Yeah. Imagine fucking that guy. I assume that Kendall Windham also, the other thing that I also thought always hurt Bray Wyatt, and I can't believe I'm only making this point now, is throughout all of this, he was maintaining a very family oriented Instagram account. Like, he was very much not who he was on social media. And I always was just like, fuck you, man. Just fucking pretend for a bit, please, please, please.
I don't know, man. Yeah, just don't be on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah, like I actually
like Undertaker and Brock Lesnar are exactly what you want, because it's like they just don't have social media.
Yeah, it's also, why do you need it? Like, you're on television. The point of social media in the end is like, well, promote where I'm on television. They got a marketing department. It's fine.
By 100%, the point is, if you get released like he did all of a sudden, then you can go to a new company and promote it.
Yeah, or you could do what John Moxley did, which is just put a trailer on your brand new Twitter account, and then it's reported by the wrestling news, because media in this space is always thirsty for content.
Well, John Moxley also had a Twitter account, though. What you're saying is don't have a Twitter account, then.
I didn't think he posted on it, though. Like, I thought it was
cucked.
I thought it was the second post ever was him doing that weird trailer where he's
breaking. No, he deleted every single tweet he had, which, I mean, looks cool because it's like, you know, you erase your whole history and this is my new history. But in reality, well, I guess he hired someone to do it, because that is just, it's cool that the one tweet in the trailer, but then you just like look at, like, you think of John Moxley in a hoodie just being like, click.
Speaking as someone,
fuck, why isn't there just a select all delete?
Speaking as someone that unfollowed everyone on their Twitter account one time, takes a long time. It's really annoying.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
So satisfying, though. Oh, it's so satisfying. Oh my god, it was a real. It was one of them.
Unfollowed your own mom.
I mean,
unfollowed your own mother.
That's correct.
That's fucking crazy.
Everyone's
unfollow.
I followed her back after I went back to get followers. I followed her back.
I don't know, man. That's you're the real Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, some people, you're not the first person that was like, you unfollowed your mom. It's like, it's not like I phoned her and called her a cunt. Like, I just didn't follow her. I followed no one on Twitter for a while because I was just like, I gotta fucking
I guess I don't think of that. Like, I always think like, well, this guy doesn't follow, like John Cena. We talk about that John Cena in our Johnny Cena episode, but I guess John Cena's like, nope, not following you, dad. I could use actually some help promoting my indie. Not going to give it to you. I'm the Marine.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this about me, Dad, but you can't see me follow you on Twitter.
So Bray Wyatt basically should be, you know what? He might be a guy who you just fucking, who Bray just Wyatt needs to basically have the Undertaker schedule where it's like, I'll be here for a bit because if I'm around too long, things are bad.
Bray Wyatt is millennial Coco Beware. We all remember liking him. There's not a lot of evidence as to why. He'll go into the Hall of Fame. Like, I don't.
Yeah. He should have a conversation with Mick Foley about what worked about the old Mankind character and just do that.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
I wheeze like a pig. I have like a weird guy who's like, he's raised in a boiler room, but he never was like, the boiler room brawl match was weird and kind of shitty, but he never was like, now we have to go to my dad's house match.
Yeah. The difference is Mankind was never like, oh, there was a girl who was mean to me and now that girl's my valet. Like, yeah. Mankind was all just kind of like, and then I became a wrestler who wants to beat up the Undertaker. Well, Bray Wyatt's like, I'm from a swamp and in no way am I acknowledging that I'm in a wrestling match.
Yeah, especially when you have the name, and I still think it's such a cool name, Wyndham Rotunda, where it's like, you literally are carrying the flag for two separate weird men.
He has is that the Mike Rotunda gimmicks that are acceptable were in the NWA, which Vince McMahon will never acknowledge. You can't be like, this man is a generational star. His dad won a tag team title with an embezzler in the 90s. Like, it's not
who's a real embezzler. Yeah, that's true. He'll never. But I mean, that's the other thing where
Ted DiBiase didn't miss a fucking beat. Get him on WWE. Tell what did this guy do?
Oh, yeah.
Dollars from the poor. Can we make him our world champion?
Yeah, I guess that's the other Bray Wyatt. The other part of the Bray Wyatt character was that he was conceived while Mike Rotunda was in a satanic cult.
Yeah, his dad is Kevin Sullivan, and weirdly, his mom is Rick Steiner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we've already discussed this. It was Barry Windham got pregnant.
Of course, that's
Kevin
right.
Sullivan cast a hot spell.
Do you ever...
So this is what it's like within. This is so funny. Meltzer says that his Funhouse Fiend character was fantastic, and he's a genius as a performer. It doesn't make his matches great. I don't care about his fucking. But it's like the most WWE thing is how into the Fiend they get everybody, and then 2 days later everyone's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, it's the best. This guy's amazing. Guess again. Like, they just fucking
Yeah, exactly. Best gimmick in the Wrestling Observer newsletter twice, once in 2013 and once in 2019, and then the worst gimmick the exact next year in 2020, which says everything.
yeah. It also says everything about Dave Meltzer, who's really starting to chap my ass.
Oh shit! And then the other thing is, he did the ultimate thing, which is he left his wife for another woman, and he has 4 kids, 2 with his previous wife and 2 with JoJo Offerman, who was like.
Yo, welcome to the
Good for him.
90s. There is nothing more the decade of the 90s than leaving your wife and immediately just recreating your family with a new person. And you tell those first batch of kids you like your new kids better.
Yeah, just erasing your old wife from it. Oh, also, I think it's important though for him. He's one of the guys I complain about a lot that they don't take big swings. That like once a guy is a certain character, they don't just be like, he's this now. And he definitely, being Bray Wyatt, is someone they were like, he's not Husky Harris, he's a fucking cult guy now. And the whole crowd was like, okay. And the fact that the whole crowd went, okay, I think is really instructive in that like they should do this more often, where it's like,
I completely agree. I think Bray Wyatt does show that the fans are willing to follow a performer that they are invested in through a lot of different things. I think that the way that they kind of kept ringing that bell, it got to a point where it was like, all right, wrap it up. But,
yeah, like Dolph Ziggler is still awesome. You could just change Dolph Ziggler's name.
yeah,
He doesn't have to be in a fucking cult, but like you can just be like, I'm not Dolph Ziggler anymore. I'm Rick Randy, and I'm here to fuck your couch. And then he's the couch fucker, Rick Randy.
here's the thing with Rick Randy, the Heath Slater couch fucker Dolph Ziggler. What I've never understood with that guy in particular, which is why don't they just make his gimmick, you know, the personal trainer at the gym who just talks to women on ellipticals and he thinks he's really hot and everyone hates him? That's who Dolph Ziggler always strikes me. It's like, give him some gum and just have him walk around the front of the ring, just complimenting, asking women like, you have enough kale in your diet? Like, just be a real fucking fitness creep. Dolph Ziggler would be the biggest fucking heel.
They do try that every so often. They had obviously the Body Donnas, Simon Dean.
But exactly, but they need to just have a guy come out and be like, wrestling fans are fat. All of you need to be keto. Like, they need to just do Joe Rogan, the Rick Rude, and I guarantee you got yourself the biggest heel ever. I'm on probiotics and I'm on nutraceuticals, and I'm not even fucking explaining what that is. I'm the Intercontinental.
Oh yeah, and then have actual supplements he's trying to sell you.
Oh,
like Kenny Omega's Total War.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Kenny Omega's Total War. Is he still selling that?
Oh shit. One of his sons, the Godfather, is Braun Strowman, so that's good.
God, does the son have pierced nipples?
I mean, sure.
I guarantee that baptism took place at a fucking Hooters. Dip him in the ranch. Dip him in the ranch. Now, Dylan, I've really enjoyed talking about Bray Wyatt, but here's the situation. I'm currently turtling a piece of shit.
Yeah, let's go. Best thing about Bray Wyatt. First part of his gimmicks. Worst part of Bray Wyatt. A month later. Also, the Sister Abigail's pretty cool.
I'm going to say this. Worst part about Bray Wyatt was that real weird period where he was the worst thing about Bray Wyatt was the Randy Orton match, where they did the real projections of bugs onto the mat of the match, and it made no sense whatsoever.
Oh my god! And then Randy Orton came out, and there was cum. Remember, it looked like it was just a bunch of big sperms when he came to the ring. That was fucking sick.
He had a bunch of.
Oh yeah, the bugs. How did we not talk about the bugs? This is the thing, though. If that is fucking, this is the brilliance of the Broken Matt Hardy character. He knows it's fucking stupid. He knows it's about to be fucking dumb.
That's why it worked.
And then Bray Wyatt is like, no, this is cool. It's like, no, it's not, man. It's really not.
What it worked. It's so funny. It's so crazy. COVID really made us all forget about Broken Matt Hardy. Like when Broken Matt Hardy showed up in AEW, everyone was like, everyone take their shirts and pants off and fuck. We're all about to have sex with each other.
So here's the thing. I will describe this and then you'll dump, or you can just go dump and I'll describe this and we can end the episode.
I want to be here for this because I brought this point up and I love it.
So,
and I will dump.
Me and very talented comedian Bobby Mayer used to live at an apartment that was pretty nice, but the superintendent for the building was a woman on a respirator who then her son did all the actual like maintenance for the building. Now, here's what would happen is that Bobby's girlfriend at the time would do laundry, and the super was basically like making sure the laundry machines worked or whatever. We don't know. But this man was easily 6'6". He is completely bald with the U, long, wet, bald, like long hair down, wet, always wet. So intimidating. Like breathing heavy, weird clothes, smelly clothes.
Yeah.
My point is that guy was Bray Wyatt. We were fucking terrified of him.
Yeah.
If he would have been like, I know magic and I'm casting a spell on you, we would immediately been like, I am no longer scared of you.
Yeah, but if you just inexplicably walk by that guy and he's just eating an onion like it's an apple, you're just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
He must not have access to Kevin Sullivan, Bray Wyatt, because it's like Kevin Sullivan wouldn't just be like, here's what you do. Here's what I did in the territories.
Like Kevin Sullivan went nuts.
Have some sex slaves, and Bray Wyatt was, no, they're all kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well,
yeah, you want to have a
Won't let me have kids in bathing suits? What the fuck am I? What are my valets?
Kevin, you don't want to know what this character thinks is hot. I'm just gonna say that. Kevin, you don't want to know. But you're absolutely right. Like Kevin Sullivan really played that character so brilliantly. The most brilliant part of it, which was apparently got really pissed off at Bill Apter, because Bill Apter put on the front page of PWI a photo of Kevin Sullivan, and it just said, "The devil is my manager." And he was like, "Motherfucker, I had to like make an agreement with Eddie Graham. I would never say that." And also, I'm in the South. Like people showed up with guns. They're like, I fucking knew it. That guy, I knew that guy fucking worshiped Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, they didn't like her back then either.
And then also like, yeah, this is the Satanic Panic era. This is Richard Ramirez.
Of course, the Night Stalker.
Anyway, sucky, quack, quack. Bye. Thank you, Andrew McCown. And our next one is, this man paid money for this, John, and we're going to fucking review it. The career of Crystal Marshall. For some reason.
Crystal Marshall. Do you know who that is?
I don't know. I forget.
Guys,
she was like a diva from the 2000s.
Congratulations, everyone. Strap in for that episode.
Spend your money. Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing that. And strap in for our Crystal Marshall episode, which I assume, if any of our episodes where we really don't know the wrestler or anything to go by, strap in for a real libelous hour.
Mm-hmm. We just say things again. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. We love you. Recording stop.